I'm watching this video and they said they're having a hard time, like, what is space expanding into? Like, space is expanding, but what is it expanding into? I said to you that, what if it's just like a car driving down the street and the car has a plow on the front of it? The plow is pushing, let's say, snow out of the way. So in that example, the car is, I guess, expanding, let's say, in quotes, into a space once occupied by snow. That's what's happening. So what if space, let's say there's fields everywhere, which we know there is, electron field, photons, all the things that have fields. What if we just say space is expanding? Let's say it has a little plow on the front of it, whatever that is. And it's expanding into all these points. The points would be like snowflakes, snow. All these points in the field. It's pushing those points, those values, out of the way. And it's then occupying with itself that value. What if that's happening? I feel like that's what's happening. It's just pushing values out of the way. That's what's happening. Whatever field value was there, it pushed it out of the way. Now it occupies that space, or that point, I should say. I don't want to call it a space. We're saying space then occupies that point. I think that's a better way to say it. What's wrong with that? Why can't that be a thing? And the really interesting thing about that is it implies that once space pushes those points out of the way, they accumulate somewhere, just like snow behind a plow accumulates. So what's happening to those points that are accumulating? I think thinking about that could give us insight outside our traditional view of space. I'm going to think about it more, but we're stuck in this like view of space that we see every day, and I don't think that's what's happening. And I think if we think of fields, points in the fields getting pushed out of the way by space, and those points are then, where do they go is a good question. It's possible space keeps pushing them, and on the edge of space, there's a huge accumulation of fields, of field points. And those field points could even intermingle and create like some kind of frontier or boundary. I don't know. It's also possible that it could be compressing them because it's, snow on the front of a plow. If you just have the plow gathering snow and you just keep pushing and pushing snow, as more snow hits the plow, the snow that hit it first is getting compressed into the plow. So as space is expanding into these fields with points, more points could be accumulating, more points in the fields could be accumulating like on the edge of space itself and getting compressed against it. Well, that's a totally unique way to look at space and even what's beyond space, because then what's beyond space? A lot of compressed fields. And what does a lot of compressed fields imply? I don't know. But it starts to look a lot like, if I thought of a lot of compressed fields, I would think of something that becomes twisted upon itself in like a ribbon fabric. Because some of those things are going to intertwine and twist. And, in a way, it could give like a boundary for this dimension and something to imply an alternate dimension. Because I think an alternate dimension is just a twisting where things are like twisted upon themselves like a Calabi-Yau manifold. But if you have space pushing fields and these points become intertwined, they start to form a fabric like that, a twisted fabric. That could be another way to enter other dimensions. That could be how other dimensions are formed. It could be something else not to do with dimensions. Just compressing the fields could cause like a massive energy that is governing this whole thing we're in. Like, I'm not sure. But it's something to think about. Like, what does that mean if that's what's happening?